Hey everybody, Chris here. Welcome back to another episode of Woodmere State Revival. We are working on the pool again this weekend, trying to get more of the plumbing done. So I've been down here for the last hour or so, getting all the stuff out, getting ready to get going on it. Also pumping the water out of the ditch. Unfortunately, there's a lot of water left in the hillside and behind the pool, and water keeps coming out into the ditch that takes the pipes into the pump house. So I've got to pump that out because we can't be gluing pipes together in the water. So getting that pumped out, kind of getting everything staged and ready to go. My dad's going to be over here in a little bit. Amber and the boys are going to come down in a little, and we're going to get as much of this stuff knocked out as we can. Slight chance of rain. I actually heard a couple peals of thunder off in the distance, so hopefully nothing's going to hit us this morning. But let's take a look around, see where we left off last time, and what we're hoping to get accomplished today. All right, so if you'll remember from last time, we finished up over here on the far corner. We were setting pipe for one of the return jets over here on the diving board into the pool. We put these new bulkhead fittings, they call them easy inlets, in through the concrete, and that's what we're attaching our new return pipes to. Step over here and take a look so you can see how far I got on that one. I did some work here in the middle with the roto hammer the other day, chipping out some concrete away from our light niche. I got to rewire it, and I got to put some conduit on it to get the wiring out from under the plumbing as we're coming around this end of the pool. So I got to get that hooked up. So anyways, this pipe is going to come around this end of the pool, and then it'll run around the ditch here and over and meet up with the rest of them. Along the way, you see a drain, which is that fitting there on the top. That's an overflow. It comes just under the coping. Keeps water from overflowing the top of the pool and also seeping under the coping and causing freezing issues, coping popping loose during the winter, etc. And then there's another one of our returns drilled through the wall. If you look across the way there, that's the other skimmer. And the skimmers they used when they built the pool originally, they were really small. So the new skimmers that we got from Hayward, I have to cut a larger opening through the side of the pool to get those installed. So here after a while we're going to make a huge dust cloud when we get out the grinder and the masonry blade on the saw and everything else to try to open that up. And then as you look down here, that is the vacuum fitting. So that's where you would attach stuff to get down in your pool and clean. So creepy crawlers or handheld wands to vacuum debris and stuff off the bottom of the pool. Down in the bottom of the hole there, you can see some of the original black poly pipe that they used. Well, not original. Originally it was plumbed and galvanized. And then at some point they came back and replaced the rusty galvanized with black poly. And the bottom, in the bottom of the hole there, you can see two of them there. That's a floor return and that's the main drain line. And those come out in this hole over here. So I'm actually going to dig down just a little bit more this way, and then we will use a couple of barbed fittings to hook into those, and we're going to repurpose those lines because those are just fitted right into the concrete in the side of the pool, so there's no way to go in there and fit new lines. So we're just going to have to come over here into the hole and then take them across, join the ditch, and back into the pump house. So again, the ditch has water in it today. We've had some rain during the week, and then also we had there's your salamander. What's up, buddy? And then we just have this kind of spring effect coming out of the hillside over here because there's a lot of water from all the rain and stuff we got this winter, so it's just constantly kind of draining out there. But I got our pump set over there, got a sump dug, and we have been draining this water back to the sump and pumping it out this morning. So as you can see, I got lots of work to do. I'm going to get back to it here, wait for everybody else to arrive, and then we're going to start laying some pipe and get some of this stuff knocked out. So we'll keep you apprised along the way today. All right, so while my dad and I are working on the pipe, we've got Amber and the boys over here in the pump house putting on some waterproofing paint. How's it going in here, family?
Awesome.
It's like a great place to work.
It is. Great working conditions.
No, we just need a raise, that's all.
A raise, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. How about a membership to the pool?
Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
Give me the chippers.
gym
Yeah.
membership? Yeah, we'll get you one of those too.
Yeah, we have one.
That's looking good. This ought to brighten things up nicely and
Yeah.
make it a lot easier to see and work in here. See the snakes?
We severely underestimated the amount of dry lock.
Yeah, we're getting
we
low
need.
already.
Yeah, I think we have just enough to get the walls done.
Wow, stuff's really soaking in and using a lot of it, huh?
Yeah, and we'll have to do the ceiling and the floor and then a second coat. So
Yeah.
we're gonna need at least
A couple more
probably
gallons.
3 or 4 gallons.
That's 1 gallon.
Well, it's looking great. You guys are doing good work. Thank you. All right, so the family has been painting in the pump house. Dad and I have been working over here in the ditch, running the pipe for the return all the way down through here, and we're getting ready to make the corner and go up the ditch to the pump house. So we're gonna get that laid. We got a great day for getting stuff done, don't we, Dad?
Absolutely.
A lot drier and warmer than it has been.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get the rest of this line done, and then we'll come back here and start on this next wall return and bring it around. It'll hug the wall, and then on the far side over there we got to pick up the skimmer box, but I got to get that cut in before we can get that pipe run around here. So we're going to keep plugging away on this one, and then also over here in the ditch we got to get these two of these lines here reattached and brought back over to the pump house. So it's going to be a mess of white plastic pipe, isn't it, Dad?
Absolutely. Good thing you're marking it, because
Yeah.
if you don't mark it, it's going to be a real mystery.
It'd be pretty confusing by the time we get to the pump house. We got 9 plastic lines sticking up through the floor there. All right, so line number 4 is in and glued. That's the one that came from the return jet, clear over there on the other side of the pool. So we brought it around the end of the pool, down the ditch, up the main ditch here to the pump house, into the pump house, which has been freshly painted on the inside. And we got it stubbed up over there for now. So the boys and Amber got a coat of paint, that dry lock paint, on the inside of the pump house here. It's already looking better. Clean and bug free. That'll help keep the moisture at bay. And later on we'll paint a coat on the floor and the ceiling as well, just to try to encapsulate everything, make it nicer to work in here. Next on tap is went around to the next return fitting, which is over there, right over there in front of Neptune. So we're going to go over there and hit that one and bring it back this way, get it in the ditch, and run inside the pump house. Good progress so far. All right, we just got the final return jet plumbed back to the pool house. So we got it all laid in place and glued together, looking really good. Next, I'm going to work on the vacuum fitting that comes out of the side of the pool. And then as soon as I get that done and back to the pool house, then I'll start digging down and get ready to do those barbed fitting connections for the main drain line and the floor return. So let me show you guys what we got accomplished so far. All right, so you can see 2 lines in the ditch over there now, coming from the other end of the pool. That's wall return number 4 over there in the corner, and wall return number 3 over in this corner. Next, we're going to pick up this, what I said, the vacuum line. And the vacuum line is what you use when you're cleaning the pool. If you want to run a wand to pick up debris off the bottom of the pool, or if you want to run one of those automatic pool cleaners, like a creepy crawler, you can hook it up to this fitting inside the pool wall, and you don't have to plug it into your skimmer or anything like that. So pretty handy to have those. Always nice to be able to run stuff off of that. Again, our 2 lines are coming from the other end of the pool here, run up this ditch, and then run into the main ditch there, over here to the pool house. And then we got 5 of them running up underneath the pool house so far. And we've got them all stubbed up on the inside there. So I got to get some Teflon seal, put on that piece of 1.5-inch pipe coming out of the wall, and then we'll change it over to plastic and get the rest of that vacuum plumbed back to here. So here's the rest of the lines. I got them all labeled there: skimmer 1, and then return 1, 2, 3, 4. And once we get all of our equipment in, we'll begin to build our manifolds in here. We'll put valves on there, unions, that way we can break stuff apart and service it. And then everything will sit in this nice, bright, clean pump house. So really coming together. We'll get some more work done and then catch you guys up here in a little bit. All right, so in just about 20 minutes I had the fitting lubed up and screwed on to the old steel pipe that came through the wall there for the vacuum fitting. I had to adapt from iron pipe to plastic with a PVC adapter, and then had to put a PVC elbow on there, shoot that down towards the ditch, pick that up with a 45, and then bring it back this way. So it really didn't take too long. Thankfully I was able to knock it out. I did have to lay on top of the coping and dangle off the edge to try to put those fittings together, because there's no more room to work in the ditch. We've got so much pipe going through there now. So not the most comfortable position in the world, but did work out pretty nicely. Let me show you. All right, so there you can see where that old iron pipe comes through the wall of the pool. That was the original vacuum fitting. They had some sort of steel elbow on there that went to a nipple, that went to a barbed fitting, that went to some sort of flexible plastic, just a hodgepodge of stuff. But now we've got it, I got it all cleaned up with the grinder, with the wire wheel, and then put a brand new fitting on there with lots of Teflon sealant on there. And then from here on back, it'll just be glued PVC like everything else. So got to run back to here at this point. Got to cut a small piece to make the corner, and then we'll be back running full pieces back to the pump house. So coming along nicely this evening. All right, so the vacuum line is done. I got all the fittings glued together, got it run back to the pump house. It's getting pretty tough down in the ditch there because we got so many pipes in the ditch, not a whole lot of places to stand. So you kind of got to straddle the ditch, 1 foot in, 1 foot on the bank, bend over, hunker down, try to make some measurements, and then, get over there, cut, put everything back in, fit it, make sure it fits, glue it. It's a little bit tedious, but really coming together nicely. Let me show you where we're at right at this moment. Okay, so the vacuum line is the one that comes down right here from the side of the pool. Comes down right there to 45. You can see it on the inside here. And that'll have a block-off plate in it when it's not in use. But otherwise, we'll be able to hook up the creepy crawler pool cleaner or anything else we need to as an accessory inside the pool on the suction side of things. And it sure beats having to open up the top of your skimmer and plugging it in there. So these three are the three that we had in there from last week. That's the skimmer and the 2 return jets from this side of the pool. And after a good day of work today, we got the return jet over on that side of the pool, and that into the pool down there by Neptune. What's up, my dude? And then now just got the vacuum put in and got all those run back there to the pump house. Man, the wind is picking up. It was in the 70s today. It's supposed to drop down to like 41 or something overnight. So we've got some crazy winds moving in with that change in weather. Pressure's dropping. Might have a little pop-up storm here after a while. Let me show you the inside. So it kind of looks like a jumbled mess. These aren't actually attached yet. They're just kind of stabbed in there. And they've all got labels on them so we know what's what. But the way I'm going to have it set up, I've got 4 returns here. Those are the wall returns. And I've got skimmer 1 here. Skimmer 2 is going to come in right here in between these two. And they'll get run together after they have a valve put on them. And they'll come over to the suction side of the pump along with the main drain. And the vacuum that I just put in is back here. And so that'll get picked up and carried over to the suction side of the pump along with the main drain and the 2 skimmers. And then we've got the 4 wall returns there. Still have to put several more pieces of pipe in here, believe it or not. We've got the floor return, which was an existing return in the pool. I'm going to use that because we're going to run a heater and want to try to get as much hot water to the bottom of the pool as possible. And then we've also got the main drain, and I've showed you guys those a couple of times. Those are over in the ditch over there. I've got to tap into those. Those are black poly pipe. Got to tap into those with big barbed fittings. Got to heat them up and cover it with Teflon sealant, knock the fitting into place, and put several clamps on there, all while the pipe is warm. So that's going to be an interesting process. Going to get into that tomorrow, I think. But obviously got to clean that ditch out a little bit because that's got to come over here at the same level as this main ditch. So definitely got to do some digging tomorrow to get that ditch all straightened up. Hopefully get it in at a 45. So lots of progress today. Real tickled with you know, all of the stuff that we've gotten done here. Still more to do, but man, we're chipping away at it. So that's really going to wrap it up for today. It's starting to get dark, so I need to get all my tools picked up, get everything taken back into the house, and get everything ready for tomorrow. Be down here tomorrow after church. My dad's going to come back over, give me a hand. Again, we've got to do some digging. We've got to get the skimmer cut out on the other side of the pool done, so we can get that thing dry fit in place and get the line run for it. But a lot of progress today. We got 3 more lines set in place. Tomorrow, my hope is to dig out the ditch for the main drain and the floor return and get that run back to the pump house. And then finally get that skimmer set and go ahead and get that thing run. All kind of depends on the temperature. Not sure how warm it's going to be. Really the lower limit for PVC glue is about 40 degrees. So if we get much colder than that, then we really can't do anything. So we may just go ahead and work on the skimmer opening, get all our digging done. Maybe go ahead and get those barbed fittings inserted, because we can do that without any real restrictions. So we got stuff we can get accomplished even if we can't glue pipe together tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. So thank you guys for hanging out with us today, and we'll pick back up on this tomorrow. All right, everybody, it's day 2 on our pool plumbing project down here Sunday afternoon. The weather changed remarkably overnight. Yesterday it was in the 70s. It was beautiful, sunny, warm. I mean, it was just fantastic. Today in the 30s. Supposed to get down into the 20s overnight. So the old saying is, if you don't like the weather in West Virginia in spring, just wait a few minutes and it'll change. Well, that's what's happening. We had a big cold front blow in last night and really dropped the temperature, and then it's going to continue to drop today down into the 20s overnight. It was spitting a little snow a few minutes ago. So, you know, yesterday t-shirt and hot in a t-shirt, and then today back in a winter toboggan and jacket and everything else. So, you know, what are you going to do? It's too cold to glue pipe together, so I'm going to be working on fitting the second skimmer. As you remember, we had to do a bunch of cutting in the concrete wall of the pool to fit the skimmer on the other wall there behind me. So I've got to do the same thing today for the second skimmer on the deep end. So I'm going to be working on that today. And then also digging out to go ahead and fit those barbed fittings into that poly pipe that plunges down into the bottom of the deep end for the main drain, and also for the floor returns down in the bottom of the deep end. So I'm going to go get those fittings, I think, put in today as well. Those have to be heated up with a torch and shoved in there and clamped down, so I think that can be done even if it's a little cold today. We got plenty of torch heat to make it work. Let me show you where we're starting out today. So as you can see, we got 6 lines in the ditch over there, 3 that we laid last week, 3 that we laid yesterday. We got all those from the deep end of the pool brought around, except for the skimmer. That's one I got to work on today over there on the far wall there. You can see that hole in the wall there. We got to make that bigger and put that skimmer in, then we'll bring that line around. Lots of water in the bottom of the pool today. Yesterday I had that thing pumped out and it was actually dry in the bottom of the pool, except for right in the center around the main drain. So we got a ton of rain overnight, so that's really made this area a lot more muddy and a lot less pleasant to work in than what we had yesterday. So I'm going to be breaking out the muck boots and wearing those around the pool again today. Going around to the deep end of the pool here, you can see the wall return jet sticking out and the pipe going around the corner. And right here is the skimmer opening for the old skimmer. So I'm going to be marking that and then cutting that open and enlarging that today. So I'm going to get to work on that, see if I can get that skimmer fitted. I think my dad's going to come over after a while and give me a hand with a few things. So look forward to having his help today as well. He's always a big help. But look at all that mess down there. I mean, it's going to be so nice to have this pool completed. We don't have to worry about pumping the water out and keeping all the junk out of it. It's going to be great to have that finally finished. But I'm going to get to work, and we'll catch you guys up here in a little bit. All right, so Dad is on the other side of the pool there, digging in the ditch. We love digging, don't we, Dad?
Oh, it's great. Wonderful.
It's clay and hard pan and rocks, all kinds of nice stuff there. But he's digging back a little bit to get access to that black poly pipe so we can put some barbed fittings in there. We've got to clean that ditch out heading over to the pump house. And while he's working on that, I'm working on cutting out the opening for the new skimmer. The old skimmers were significantly more narrow. They only had about a 6-inch throat, The new one's about 10-inch, so it'll pull a lot more water in, allow us to do a lot better job keeping the pool clean. I don't know how they got away with a 6-inch throat. Just had to imagine that thing wasn't very efficient. Probably a lot of junk went to the bottom back in the old days. But anyways, we're using a combination of this Bosch Bulldog Rotohammer and the DeWalt 7-inch grinder with a diamond blade on it to cut out all the concrete. I'm going to have to switch from the diamond blade for masonry to a cutting blade for metal to go ahead and cut the rebar. The diamond blade for masonry didn't really like rebar too well, so got to get that stuff out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and cut down through the rest of this and open it up all the way. And then it's got to be 6 inches deep in the front of the throat here, and in the back it's got to be about 8 inches. So I'm going to have to cut down even a little bit further to get the rest of that opened up, making a huge cloud of dust. So we're going to get some more stuff done here, and we'll check back with you in a bit. So Dad's making some good progress on the ditch over here. Looks like fun digging, huh, Dad?
Oh, it's great. It's really wonderful.
He's got the black poly pipe exposed down there a little bit further. No idea why they put that PVC dog leg in that thing.
Must have had a bunch of fittings in the box they wanted to get rid of, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Charge the customer a little extra.
That's right.
Seems kind of a strange thing. That's the one that goes down to the floor drain, or the floor return, I should say. Now he's trying to widen the ditch at about a 45 over to the main ditch over there, so we can stab some barb fittings in there and then run a new line from those two back over to the pump house.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah, boy, great digging.
Just great.
Nice if you could have a piece of equipment back here digging those ditches for you, but unfortunately that won't work.
Yeah.
At least we got them dug around the pool. That saved us a lot. And back on the other side over here, I've been making lots of dust and sparks, cutting through the side of the pool here to put the new skimmer in. So I've gotten the rough opening there. Now I gotta get down in there and clean out some more chunks of rebar and then begin to refine the opening, get everything looking good, and get that new skimmer set in there dry. Once we've got that set, then we can go ahead and begin putting our fittings together and running that around the side of the pool, and we can come back at a later date, form up and pour concrete around the skimmer, holding it in place and making it essentially part of the wall of the pool. So looking good.
That's ace. Chris is in the middle of it.
It's all gonna be worth it, right?
I hope so. Well, that's a good way to do it. you're digging the hole, another hole for our main drain and the floor drain.
I'll get that later.
Good job.
Thanks. Great. Gonna do a quick change on the blade.
Okay. Are you gonna cut the rebar?
The spinning wheel of death.
Be careful.
I got 9 more fingers.
Yeah. Guess as long as your eyes are protected, you don't want to be a one-eyed optometrist.
Yeah, that wouldn't sell very well. Hard to spin those dials with fingers, though.
True.
Always look like a pirate and put a patch on. Too.
Woo! Is there one sticking up there too that you need to get, or?
Yeah, there's 2 down at the bottom, too.
Okay.
I gotta get some more concrete away from them first.
Okay.
I just have one more grinder. Good Lowe's.
Are you asking for another one?
Yeah, but you run to Lowe's real quick, give me another one.
I was thinking for your birthday, but
Look how much more efficient I can be. I make one bigger than 7 inches.
doubtful. That one's pretty heavy.
I get a 10 inch. Probably take 3 hands. Tripod.
Yep.
Okay, so I just got done cutting and shaping the notch that goes through the side of the pool for the skimmer. We got brand new Hayward skimmers. And again, the mouth of these Hayward skimmers is about 10 inches. The old ones were about 6 inches. So I'm amazed that the old ones worked at all, but you know, I guess that's the best they had back in the 60s when this pool was built. Did find one surprise when I got down into the thick of the wall there when I was trying to notch in for the skimmer. There was a big piece of steel and a bolt that goes down through the block and then evidently down probably into the deep end, you know, the big pour there where they built the deep end. I'm guessing that there's a big piece of angle that goes around the corners to reinforce the corner. Evidently when they built these, you know, back in the day, they left some threaded rods down in the block, and those were tied into the big pour on the bottom. Then they stacked the block, and then they slid these plates down over top of that, bolted them in place, and then they attached all the rebar to that, and then poured what they call the beam, which is the solid concrete, reinforced concrete top to the pool. And this is kind of guesswork. I'm not real sure if that's what it is, but based on what I'm seeing here, that's what it looks like. Let's take a look at it so you can see what I'm saying here. All right, so here's the cutout, and this is where the new skimmer is going to sit. And you can see that the opening is larger than we had planned. I was going to cut it about 11 inches, but I kind of put a little bit on both sides of the original notch and then got into this on the far side here. So this is that big steel plate that I was telling you about. You can see how thick that is. Looks to be 3/8 steel, maybe even 1/2 inch. I mean, it's heavy steel. Rebar tied to it. Then you can see the big nut here and the washer, And evidently there was just a big threaded rod that went down through the block into the pour, the big pour, that created the deep end and the floor of the pool. And we're just guessing because I've seen it kind of over on this side as well, right there along the water line there, that plate was like a big angle brace, and it went all the way around the corner of the pool here, and then kind of bolted everything in place and kept it all reinforced and strong. But anyways, let me show you how this skimmer fits down in the wall here. So this thing drops down in here and sits right in this notch. And then what I'm going to have to do, since this thing is larger than I originally intended, is when we build the form for the skimmer, because the skimmer has to be encased in concrete, we'll just extend the form out in front of it here to cover this steel back up, and then make this corner, and all that will be secured in place, and we'll just pour all that at once. I'll do some reinforcing rod back into the concrete and then just kind of wire all that together to secure that. But that thing just sits down in the notch like that, and then the inside of this trough will be plastered and actually be tiled. So that thing just sits down in the notch like that, and then the inside of this will get tile. So I'm going to smooth this out a little bit more, and then there'll be tile along the floor of it, and then the sides, and then on top you'll have the coping, and you won't see any of this. And then everything will be covered with concrete on all sides. It'll be boxed in with concrete, and really just make this one with the pool. There'll be rebar coming out of both sides here, and that'll help to secure the new pour to the side of the pool. All right, so that just about wraps up another weekend of pool plumbing. We made a lot of progress this weekend. Today we focused on stuff that we didn't have to use the glue for. It's below 40 degrees, never did warm up above that, and that's really the low limit on that PVC cement. You're really not supposed to use it below that limit. We don't want to take any chances on having any weak joints in any of our plumbing that's going to be under a concrete pool apron. So we used our discretion here and worked on digging ditches and cutting a big notch in the side of the pool to mount the new skimmer. Let's take a look and see what all we got done here today. All right, so my dad was nice enough to come over today and put his digging boots on and dig a bunch of dirt out of this ditch over here. This ditch I dug originally trying to follow this pipe back over to the pool because I couldn't figure out where it went. Turned out that was one of the skimmer lines that they had replaced at some point, and it went over here, and it actually led me, as I was following it, it actually led me over here to the rest of these lines, which at some point had been laid as part of a pool renovation. This black poly pipe was not the original pipe. Originally it was plumbed with galvanized, and then at some point they came in and did some renovations around the pool. Galvanized, after it's been in the ground for a while, just starts rusting and falling apart. And so they came in at some point, dug this up, they tied in over here to the side of the pool down there and below those brand new white plastic lines there. Down there in the bottom of the ditch, you can see where those old lines go into the side of the pool. So Dad was working on getting these exposed, so he dug these back a little bit more, and then we laid out and figured out where a 45 was going to go off of this pipe over to our main ditch to go into the pool house. So next time I'll go ahead and cut those off. Several of those are going to be abandoned. We're not going to use those because they served other purposes. One of them was the old skimmer line, one of them was the old vacuum line. But we're going to abandon two of those, and then we're going to pick up the main drain line, which is the big fat one right there in the middle, and then this one with all the goofy plumbing on it, we're going to pick that one up because that is the floor return, and take it over in this ditch over here to the pump house where they'll get plumbed in underneath here, just like the other 6 that we already have laid in there. Those will go into the pump house and then become part of the suction and return system for the pool. So while Dad was over here digging away, I was on the other side of the pool putting in the new skimmer. You can see where we've got the original skimmer set here. I was on the opposite side of the pool over there working. Let's take a walk around there. least the sun came out. It wasn't bitter cold all day. It was actually spitting a little bit of snow earlier today. It's supposed to get down into the 20s tonight. A little worried about our saucer magnolia, which is out in bloom, also called the tulip tree. But yeah, our saucer magnolia is looking beautiful, so hopefully it doesn't get frostbite tonight and kill off all of the blooms, because it's really looking pretty. But I was over here in this ditch today. You can see all the dust and stuff laying everywhere. This is the piece of coping that the guys, the stonemasons, laid in there loose for us. So I had to pop that out and then cut a much larger opening in the side of the pool to fit that new skimmer in there. So I got it fit. Everything works. So as soon as we get another warm day, we'll go ahead and run plumbing from the skimmer around the pool and over into the pump house. And then again over here, this one will get formed up. We'll put some rebar through the pool there and wire it all in place, get it nice and level and flush with the underside of the coping, and then we'll form around it and actually pour concrete all the way around that to secure it to the side of the pool. So very productive weekend overall. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us Saturday and Sunday. We got a lot done around the pool. It was a beautiful day yesterday, nice and warm, got lots of plumbing done. Cold today, you know, goofy spring weather here in West Virginia, but we took advantage of at least dry conditions to go ahead and do a bunch of digging and cutting on the pool to set that new skimmer. So we still got a lot of stuff accomplished today. Next weekend, hopefully we'll be back down here to finish up the last of the plumbing and get this pool project wrapped up. Then we'll be ready to set equipment in our new pump house, newly painted pump house, and get everything going for the pool. We're excited to have that this summer to actually get to use and enjoy this year. So thanks again for tuning in for this episode of Woodmere State Revival. Be sure to hit that subscription button so you don't miss a single episode. We got lots more to come. Be sure to give us a like if you would, and got any comments or questions, leave those in the section down below. And as always, please share the channel with your friends and family. We have really enjoyed sharing this project. We got a lot more to come. So stay tuned for lots more updates. We'll see you guys again real soon. Thanks.